Hey there, fellow wanderers. Tonight, we step into the smoke and flame, the brutal, blistered world of a medieval blacksmith. Imagine a forge, dimly lit by firelight. The air hangs thick with the choking scent of burning coal and sweat. Iron bars lean against stone walls, sparks fly like fireflies, and the rhythm of hammer on anvil echoes like a war drum for the damned. This isn't a place of peace, it's a furnace of survival. Every strike tests your strength. Every breath draws in soot, and while you shape metal, the smoke shapes your lungs in return. And if the burns, the blood, and the broken fingers don't get you, the whispers might. In towns that fear what they don't understand, a man who bends metal like magic is never far from being called a sorcerer. So before we descend deeper into the fire, hit like and subscribe, but only if stories forged in heat and hardship speak to you. Let me know in the comments, where are you tuning in from, and what time is it as you listen tonight? Now dim the lights. Let your fan mimic the breath of bellows. Let's begin. You awaken before dawn, muscles weary from the previous day's labor, but there's no time to linger in bed. A quick meal, mostly bread or whatever stew is left over from the night before, has to suffice. The hustle begins in the blacksmith shop, its door creaking open to reveal the stone hearth still faintly warm from yesterday's fire. You stoke the flames back to life, each puff of the bellows sending a gust of embers dancing into the early morning light. The life of a blacksmith is anything but glamorous, yet it's a cornerstone of medieval community. You're responsible for creating everything from horseshoes that keep the town's steeds trotting to weapons that fit snugly in the hands of knights charging into battle. Oh, the irony of wielding the very tools that could shape a hero's narrative, or erase it. Yet, for all its seeming importance, your work is never truly your own. Villagers might respect your craftsmanship, even marvel at the intricate designs you sear into the metal, but there's always an undercurrent of fear about your ability to seemingly transform dull iron into hardened steel. With each strike of the hammer, you further the day's progress. The rhythmic clang radiates through the small workshop, a melodic cadence that, despite its monotony, becomes oddly soothing. It's about the only solace you have as you wipe sweat from your brow, only to replace it with another layer of soot. Perhaps the only interruptions in your routine come when you've crafted something especially intricate. Local folklore attributes your skill to mystical sources, and while part of you wishes it were true, to harness power beyond human strength, the reality is far less enchanting. Your expertise comes from years of apprenticeship, a grueling chapter of your life you'd rather forget. This experience, however, has left you not with supernatural finesse, but with aching joints and hands coarse as worn leather. But as you forge a horseshoe, bending it to the precise curvature of a hoof, you feel an inkling of pride. It's a moment's respite from thoughts of how fleeting and uncertain your status truly is. On one hand, you are a craftsman, indispensable to the community for as long as their needs align with your offerings. On the other hand, you are always a slight misstep away from poverty or shunning, should the community's fears overpower their necessities. Once in a while you question why you continue under such oppressive conditions, but the thought quickly dissipates like smoke in the wind. Rough hands, burnt and calloused, require no reminders of the toll your labor exacts. Yet the stakes are high, and the demands never cease. By twilight you've trodden a path through sweat and soot, and the heat that earlier felt oppressive now becomes a comforting embrace against the cool evening air. Dinner comes hastily, your appetite substantial but overshadowed by fatigue. The meal is quick, interspersed with a fleeting conversation, idle chatter, perhaps some local gossip, the type that reminds you of your place within this tightly knit yet precariously balanced tapestry. As you prepare for bed, the world outside settles into stillness. Shadows dance across the walls from the dim glow of the dying fire, and for a moment you're lulled into sleep with visions of a world not quite here nor there, where you, the blacksmith, live less life as a man tethered to an anvil and more as a sorcerer of metal, without the physical burden. The spell doesn't last, of course, and you drift into sleep, knowing tomorrow bears the same toil. Yet an unacknowledged resilience propels you. It's this nascent strength, a brilliant spark from within, ever ready to ignite despite the burdens you carry, that ensures your legacy, forged irrevocably into the world around you. Each turn of time's wheel only further entrenches you in this grand, grueling, and wondrous slice of history. The symphony of your alarms is not a jarring cacophony, but rather the soft clinking of pottery and simmering stew as the village begins its day. You rise reluctantly, drawn back into the relentless beat of the blacksmith's daily life. There's work to be done, and as your bones creak into motion, you realize there's no rest for the essential craftsman. Once more, you find yourself submerged in the competitive rhythm of a craftsman's existence, where the forge's heat becomes both your companion and adversary. Your daily routine is as predictable as it is punishing. Before you can even think of diving into the heavier tasks, there's wood to chop, a fire to build, bellows to pump, and a robust blaze to nurture. The vexing question of whether today will hold a storm of requests or eerie silence looms, dictating the pace of your labor. You work tirelessly under the supervision of your own self-imposed regimen, hammering and shaping metal with the precision of a craftsman whose life depends on the metering of blows. Perhaps it's easy to romanticize the noble work of a blacksmith, yet the reality unfolds in layers of sweat-stung eyes and soot-caked skin. Apart from the eternal bubbling of molten iron, the day merges into one continuous cycle. Heat, strike, cool, repeat. Your tasks vary from the mundane necessity of shoeing horses to the intricate metalwork that whispers of status and prosperity, fences twisting in ornate designs, or perhaps a weapon destined for the hands of a noble. In these moments, art transcends utility, and for a brief instant, you leap free of life's cycle, imagining the piece that will carry your secret imprint into eternity. Yet the tale isn't one of awe alone. You navigate the maze of work with an acute awareness of its physical demands. Hours pass as your arms maintain the rhythm of swinging hammers, each arc taut with intent. The muscles in your back, shoulders, and arms swell with a mixture of strength and constant strain, as though your very being is cast upon the anvil alongside the metal. Between the repetitive motion and the noise that seeps into the very marrow of your bones, your mind wanders to the intricacies of each creation. Not one piece resembles another, just as no day is quite the same as the last. But you're far too invested in the immediate challenge, the dance between metal and fire, to drift long into thoughts undisciplined by the demands of the forge. Remember that blacksmithing is no simple trade. It requires an artful manipulation, a measured control, and relentless repetition. Yet, amidst these grueling hours there exists a drumming camaraderie with metal itself. It's as if each piece is an unruly character, waiting to be tamed into obedient elegance beneath the reprieve of your touch. Throughout the day, interruptions are relentless. Villagers with requests, small and complex alike, neighbours seeking advice on the best tools for their ploughs. Some seem in awe of the glowing forge, and their curiosity forces you to shift your focus, even momentarily, from the intense labour. The day stretches onward, seamlessly, and the demands rarely relent. You've grown adept at the art of simultaneously engaging in half a dozen tasks, juggling priorities on spinning anvils as you accommodate akimbo chaos. Even lunch is less restorative and more of a necessity, a quick break where you gulp down remnants of bread and broth, knowing the forge has little patience for extended absence. Historians still argue whether the medieval blacksmiths perceived autonomy as a tradesman, truly balanced against the tireless labour and limited rewards. Your existence weaves through a tapestry marked by both your resolve and the unyielding expectations of those around you. By dusk, the dimming light serves as your timekeeper, cajoling you to conclude the day's work. As you extinguish the forge's fiery depths, there's an odd serenity in watching the embers glow weaken. Your physical exertion has been ceaseless, yet you're propelled by a fierce craft that whispers stories through each strike of an iron-bound legacy taking form. Yet, as the bellow's final breath fades with the descent of the sun, you sense something more than fatigue, an isolated fulfillment born from humility and grit. It's this visceral satisfaction, a quiet triumph far removed from grandeur, that urges you forward. Tomorrow, you'll return to this unbroken cycle, a steadfast cornerstone etched quietly into the annals of history. The day begins anew, and the constant companion to your routine is, unmistakably, the intense physical demands of life as a medieval blacksmith. Even before the sun peaks over the horizon, your muscles already feel the lingering memory of yesterday's labour, a persistent ache thrumming beneath your skin. Each day is a test of endurance, where your body becomes both the tool and the bearer of your craft's burdens. You awaken with a deep inhale, savouring the fleeting moment of stillness before the forge's noise engulfs your senses. A quick splash of cold water on your face, and you're awakened to the relentless cycle awaiting you. The first order of business: igniting the forge. Piling wood and coal, or whatever sufficient fuel is at hand, you stoke the sleeping embers back to life, a flickering promise of the fire soon to roar back to its relentless intensity. The rhythm of the bellows warms the air, kicking up waves of heat that cling to your skin. It's a visceral onslaught, the kind that digs into your every pore, forging an intimate partnership with every sinew as you bend steel to your will. This is no job for the weak-hearted. Each hammer blow demands precision, but more importantly, it demands unyielding strength. The muscles in your arms and shoulders tighten under the repetitive motion, protesting against the ceaseless onslaught. Every tendon stretched taut, like the draw of a finely crafted bow. In between blows, your hands reveal the true testament of your craft. Calloused and scarred, they embody a living history of struggle and mastery. Your grip adjusts effortlessly, born from muscle memory as you switch hammers or tongs, manipulating the finicky metal that deigns to shapeshift only at blistering temperatures. In these moments, you're reminded of the ancient debate among scholars, whether the formidable discipline of the blacksmith's trade might serve as its greatest gift or its most unforgiving curse. For how does one measure the worth of a craftsman by the precise beauty of their work or the physical toll exacted upon their frame? The answer remains elusive, echoing in the clangor of the forge, where metal gives way not out of benevolence, but sheer necessity, born from unrelenting force. Throughout your day, every step on the stone floor leaves a physical imprint, a fleeting sign of your presence within this medieval realm. As the hours stretch interminably, forging tools or perhaps the fittings for a horse-drawn plough, the task's weight rests both literally and metaphorically on your shoulders. Each sway and pivot, each forward tilt demands balance, balancing the chambered fire of inevitable strain and resilience until both hammer and hand can do no more. Occasional visits from townsfolk punctuate the day, offering more than simple requests. They remind you of your intertwining fates. Farmers await tools to till the soil, their futures linked to the sheen of your forge. Knights and guardsmen linger for weapons, for the steel of your craft is woven into the fabric of military might and strategic defense. In these moments, the burdens grow slightly less cumbersome, knowing the ethos of your labor holds consequence beyond your own. Each evening arrives with a dusk settling upon tired limbs, confining you once more to quiet contemplation. You revel in the forge's cooling glow, a temporary relief from the unyielding heat that scars the day's memory. If you're lucky, the respite allows you a chance to stretch, easing the kinks out of a back bent repeatedly over the stone anvil. Dinner draws you homeward, a reprieve from the day's chores, and a precursor to another round of rest that hardly suffices. The meal is hasty and functional, like the gears of a machine reset for another turn of the clock. You savour the meagre respite, the familiarity bringing a strange comfort against life's capricious demands. As the moon captures the land in silvered hues, you find yourself seeking solace in the knowledge that each bend and fold of metal is an extension of the self, a deeper dialogue with the world around you. It's this communion between flesh and fire, between the burdens you bear and the renewal of purpose within each wrought piece, that sustains you. And as you rest your weary body in preparation for another day, it's the clarity of this craftsmanship, shaped within the crucible of strength and discipline, that forges your legacy, bound within medieval memory. The forge's glow wanes, and as you close your shop for the day, you reflect on the trials and triumphs that come with limited tools and resources. You lock up the shop, leaving behind the comforting scent of coal and metal, a scent that's been absorbed into your very clothes. Each tool rests in its rightful place, ready for the trials of tomorrow, each embodying the legacy of blacksmiths who toiled long before you and those who will hammer long after. By necessity, innovation blooms within constraints. You have learnt to adapt tools for multiple uses and, in the absence of the perfect instrument, to coax the very best out of what is available. Each day is a delicate balance of maintenance and creativity. Plans have to be adjusted on the fly, a piece of iron repurposed to suit the needs of a demanding client or coaxed to compliance when a piece more suiting is unattainable. In this, you discover the art of adaptation, of flexible creativity that bends as surely as the red-hot metal beneath your hammer. Back at your home, the simple comforts await. An evening meal shared with family or fellow craftsmen. Stories exchanged about the day's trials and minor victories. The camaraderie within these gatherings offers a welcome respite from the day's solitary labours. Here, your fellow blacksmiths or villagers sometimes bring their broken tools or farming implements, hoping that by sharing a meal, they might also partake in your expertise, exchanging their bread or ale for your advice and skills. Traces of the forge remain beneath your warm meal, the heat softened by laughter and camaraderie. Faces, old and young, round the table, flushed from the fires of their own labours, engage in light chatter. The conversation ebbs and flows, occasionally brushing upon the magical quality attributed to a blacksmith's work. Often humorously exaggerated into tall tales of sword-making sorcery or prophetic tools. It's a light-hearted reminder of the tinges of myth that surround your trade. As night draws closer, you find yourself winding down, eyes growing heavy with fatigue, but also the day's completed efforts. You pull from the stories of blacksmithing abroad that you once heard whispered amongst the crowd of a bustling market square or shared by travelling minstrels. Stories of distant lands where blacksmiths are said to wield advanced tools with capabilities beyond imagining. Such tales, though perhaps nothing more than wishful thinking, warm your heart with a sense of possible wonder. Before bed, you make one last round of your inventory within your mind, thinking forward to what's needed. Ingenuity will lie again in tomorrow's work. A bent chisel fashioned from an old scythe blade, or a new gripping tong born from reshaped cart parts. Each new idea becomes a testament to the connection human ingenuity has with both the challenges of limited resources and the infinite potential they offer. Finally, as you drift towards sleep, the echoes of the forge follow you like a lullaby. In the quiet of the night, images of metal and ember swirl within your dreams, visions of blades that won't dull or nails that never wear. Within the shelter of a medieval world defined by tools wrought from necessity, your journey through life as a blacksmith remains steadfast, a guardian of knowledge and skill. This is your world, shaped by simplicity and perseverance, a realm held together by the enduring strength of iron and the even greater tenacity of the human spirit. Your day continues in the forge, each task a careful ballet with danger as your uninvited partner. The unyielding heat creates an ambience that's both exhilarating and cautionary. It commands respect, but also offers a strange allure as you immerse yourself within its depths. You're aware that every move has the potential to swing dangerously close to mishap, so precision and attentiveness are your steadfast companions. As the fire crackles under your watch, you prepare to transform rough metal into something both practical and resilient. The forge is an arena of extremes, where fire tangos with iron, demanding agility and dexterity. There's no room for second-guessing in this dance. Every swing of the hammer, every plunge into the tempering trough must be executed with clarity and confidence. The tongue of flame flares anew, rising and falling with each squeeze of the bellows, exhaling enough intensity to liquefy the raw iron. One slip, one momentary lapse in concentration could result in serious injury. Hot metal flung wide, a painfully close shave with molten debris. It's a chilling realization that underscores the sinewy thread of danger woven into the fabric of every blacksmith's day. Across the ages, stories abound of blacksmiths who suffered for their art. There are tales of those who, like Icarus, flew perilously close to the forge's fiery heart, savouring the fatal charms of risk. Twisted fingers and broken bones belong to these narratives, a cautionary testament to a life lived at the brink, where success hangs in equal measure to the quicksilver thread of anticipatory awareness. Historians still argue whether these dangers were merely occupational hazards weighted with drama, or whether they reflected the extreme conditions inherent in the trade. It's a conversation lost to antiquity. Yet it resonates with the reasoned care with which you now manage each unpredictable element. Beyond physical risks, you are acutely aware of the psychological demands exacted by the trade. Being a blacksmith requires cultivating an acute sense of spatial awareness, instincts finely tuned to anticipate and mitigate potential calamities in milliseconds. This baseline state of heightened vigilance creates an exhausting backdrop for your labour, held in a perpetual sinew of alertness, even as you unwind with familiar paths homeward. As you craft, clients weave in and out of your forge. Each has a story coloured by intent, mingled with necessity and trust. Glistening swords, unyielding shackles, or the horseshoes cooling upon rows of tines. They form a testament to both your metal and their dependency on your skill. The dangers of your livelihood are sometimes mirrored in their eyes, a reflection of your joint understanding of the risks entailed. Despite these daunting challenges, the danger itself imbues the work with a curious vitality, a sombre appreciation for the dance with uncertainty. Each day closes with subtle triumphs, the satisfaction born from surviving the forge's trials and having sculpted raw materials into enduring artifacts for society's needs. As the sun dips low, shedding a golden hue over the village, the forge becomes a dark silhouette against the mellow twilight. You gather your thoughts and your tools, casting one final discerning eye over the forge, where all these risks congregate. A place of danger, yes, but also one of ceaseless creativity and discovery. In the echoing silence that follows the dying light, you share a nod of respect with the forge, secure in the knowledge that you have once again navigated its perilous tides. It's a space defined by its extremes, yet home to rare mastery and the delicate balance of trust and anticipation. A dance of danger, where only the deftest feet find sure footing. You exhale, carrying the weight of humility and respect into another evening, ready to meet the challenges that tomorrow will most certainly bring. As you step into the forge, the air sits heavy, a tactile presence suffused with layers of soot and smoke. Each breath feels like drinking in the dregs of the fire itself, the very atmosphere steeped in the laborious history of metalsmithing. Today, the focus shifts to the often overlooked health hazards of being a medieval blacksmith, a reality that's as insidious as it is unrelenting. The forge's glow is accompanied by an unseeable but pervasive threat, lurking in the very environment you labour within. The charcoal smoke spirals upward, mingling with the acrid stench of heated metal, while your lungs, much like the bellows, expand and contract, drawing in the sooty air. Although your work is aligned with the essence of creation, there's an undeniable acknowledgement of its toll on your body. This forge-born cocktail, a blend of carbon monoxide and fine particulate matter, whispers quietly of trouble beneath each breath. The fabric of your clothes absorbs the lingering presence of the forge's emissions, creating an omnipresent cloud that follows you even beyond the confines of your workshop. It clings, an invisible spectre that lurks beneath every inhalation and every exhalation, converting the air you breathe into a potential adversary. You can almost track the progression of time in the gradual change to your breath's ease, an indicator of the slow encroachment of occupational hazard. As you stoke the forge, coaxing flames to their optimal crescendo, the warmth seeps into your bones. Yet, within this heat lies a hidden discomfort. Not just the weariness of muscles, but a deeper, more insidious contraction that lurks within your very chest. The cough, now a regular fixture in your life, is just as much art as work, a persistent shadow that accompanies each exertion, pushing boundaries you weren't so conscious of before. These are not challenges you face in isolation. Across regions and centuries, stories ebb and flow of blacksmiths stricken by ailments as tangled as their trade. Some rumours speak of smith's lung, an affliction marked by persistent respiratory issues, a chronic reminder of air infused with soot and smoke. Historians still deliberate whether such ailments were romanticised exaggerations, lost in translation across history's tapestry, or grounded in the silent narrative of health sacrificed in service of the forge. The forge's heat brings not only light but an equal measure of wear. The constant exposure to high temperatures, the very heart of your craft, dehydrates and leaves skin parched and vulnerable, more so than a life unbound by such blistering conditions. Even the tangible heat becomes a parallel hazard, whispering rumours of heatstroke on particularly prolonged and sweltering summer days, a double-faced guardian of creation. Despite such endurance trials, there's comfort in camaraderie. Fellow craftsmen, drawn to your forge for guidance and support, share experiences and remedies, scant reliefs passed down through the generations. Herbal concoctions, a slice of knowledge from an apothecary's wares, offer some shield against more dire futures. Communal folklore prescribes onion poultices and honeyed elixirs, promising fleeting sanctuary from the choking tendrils of soot. Even so, awareness forms your most reliable defense, giving you clues to adjust practices, lending new shapes to tasks and perspectives. It's not just the consideration of mitigating risk, but a calculated act of preservation craft, perfectly balanced with consciousness of health. The ongoing debate among peers accommodates both tales of those who found respite in remote, clean air and those who faced the forge's inevitability with quiet resignation. As the day dims and the tools are set aside, the soft glow of the cooling forge outlines not just risk, but resilience. Each lungful of forge-tainted air bears witness to your relentless spirit, a testimony to the unyielding pursuit of craft against the quiet fury of its hazards. As you step away, the evening air crisp and cleansing in contrast, a reminder of renewal and the necessity to guard against a life lived beyond merely survival. With nightfall, the forge's whispers grow softer, and you draw comfort from the space beyond its fiery aura. Yet, even as you move into the softer evening shadows, the lesson of balance carries forward, the legacy of blacksmithing marked not just by skill, but the poignant intimacy between creation and the price quietly paid. It is a dance with danger, yes, but it is also a tribute to the tenacity of the human spirit, hand in hand with the fire's embrace. As the hours drift by and the sun begins its descent, you consider further the paradox of your existence in this medieval social fabric. Each interaction seems to brush against the tightly woven threads of respect and suspicion, leaving you suspended in the delicate balance of societal expectations. While you are a craftsman woven into the community's needs, you are also set apart by the very nature of your work. Your reputation, carved as deeply into village memory as the grooves of iron beneath your hammer, is a curious blend of admiration and unease. There are those who look upon your work with reverence. They praise the strength of your horseshoes or the precision of your scythes, marveling at the way your hands transform raw potential into objects of great utility. You are a critical part of their survival, an artisan whose labour contributes directly to the village's prosperity and protection. And yet, there are whispers. How else to explain the superstitions that cling to your profession? The uncanny ability to breathe life into iron, to anticipate the needs of hot metal just moments from solidification, creates an aura that some find unsettling. The forge's glow is often perceived as more than just heat and light. It casts shadows of ancient beliefs, tying your craft to myth and magic in equal measure. When the sun sets, there's often a quiet gathering of those who are drawn to the forge, a faint glow against the deepening night. Some seek the warmth, others are drawn by the rhythmic sound of your work, but most are there out of deeper curiosity, a blend of awe and trepidation at the spectacle of transformation. You find friends among these onlookers, but also those whose glances linger too long on the glowing embers, questioning the unseen forces they imagine at work. In these moments of subtle community and shared reflection, your role shifts. You become not just a blacksmith, but an observer and participant in the unfolding drama of medieval life. Observing the interactions, you also sense an undercurrent of suspicion from a few, a wariness born of misunderstanding and the tales passed through time, a line drawn between your craft and the community, sometimes blurred, sometimes as sharp as the tools you forge. Historians still debate whether the role of blacksmith was as isolated as it might have seemed, or if it allowed for a more fluid place within the medieval community. The evidence varies, shaped by the particular culture and the myths that surrounded each hamlet and town. Was the blacksmith a lone figure, watching from the shadows at the edge of festival fires? Or a central figure woven directly into the heart of village life? The truth, possibly, lay somewhere in between. In tandem, your solitary work gives you time to reflect upon your place and the ways that your life interweaves with those of the people around you. You forge not just metal but connections. The familial bonds of the community that ebb and flow yet hold some semblance of constancy amidst the uncertainties of medieval life. As the day's light fades away, you tend to the embers that have guided your work, reducing them to smouldering whispers that echo the village's subtle rhythm. You find solace in this closing ritual, marking the boundary between work and rest, between the forge's molten dance and the quiet of night. The door of the forge swings shut behind you, the iron hinges whispering their metallic farewell. As you walk home, night fully unfolding its velvet curtain, there's comfort in knowing that while you may occupy a space at the interplay of two worlds, the isolated and the communal, It's a role that echoes with the strength of the iron you shape and the enduring impact you forge on those around you. Through the memory of heat and hammer, you find your place not just as a blacksmith, but as a part of something larger, tethered by the mystique of your trade, the reliance of your neighbours, and the unspoken depths of your craft's inherent power. Tonight you rest, content with the knowledge that, though your place in the social hierarchy may be complex, it is one of profound importance and enduring legacy. The glow of the forge has long since dimmed, but its heated echoes persist in memory's embrace as you think back to the closing days of your own apprenticeship. It was a time marked by a curious mixture of anxiety and eagerness, a period where the boundaries between student and master began to blur, and the weight of responsibility started to settle upon shoulders that had grown accustomed to carrying it. You recall those final lessons, ones that were perhaps less structured but more impactful. By this stage, your master's guidance came as much in the form of silent approval as in corrective words, allowing you the space to innovate and experiment within the safe confines of acquired expertise. Each project, a kind of thesis defense in molten iron and steely tenacity, prepared you for independent ventures. Complex projects were soon entrusted to you, commissioned works that called upon all the skills you had meticulously honed. Creating these pieces often required you to delve deep, calling upon not just technical knowledge, but also a cultivated intuition about materials and process. Ironically, it was in these moments of self-reliant problem-solving that you truly felt the weight of your master's years of instruction. Each challenge further validated the wisdom of those seemingly mundane lessons you once undertook as an apprentice. With the forge's crackle often reduced to background ambience, your thoughts would drift toward the horizon of your future, contemplating the possibilities and responsibilities of becoming not just a craftsman, but a guardian of the blacksmithing tradition. But it was an intriguing tapestry woven with personal ambition and an ancestral duty to preserve the craft's integrity through careful mentorship of the next generation. Historians ponder what truly defined the end of apprenticeship. Were there formal ways, a ceremony perhaps, or simply a nod between generations? The multifaceted progression from learner to master encompasses such personal depth that the transition is both a climax and a beginning. Even today, that quiet nod suffices. A tacit acknowledgement of competence and independence, a shared heritage that transcends specific time and place. The community, too, recognized this transformation. As you took on the mantle of journeyman or master, the villagers who had watched your progress offered encouragement and new commissions, a tangible testament to the trust and esteem you'd built over years of diligent effort. Each piece crafted strengthened these bonds, weaving you further into the life and fabric of the village. Your thoughts now extend to the young apprentices under your own guidance. You've taken on the role of mentor, as did your master, guiding them carefully through the rigorous demands of the trade, sharing the many unspoken secrets of the forge. Each teaching moment is rich not only with knowledge but also patience, a reminder that, as much as blacksmithing is about the tangible creation of items, it's equally about shaping people and sustaining a tradition that stands far beyond the perpetuity of a single life. The end of your apprenticeship marked the beginning of this unique lineage. As you sit alongside the glowing embers, you reflect on the continuity of this cycle, a living chain of wisdom and craftsmanship extending endlessly into both past and future, a chain you now strengthen with each lesson imparted and every piece forged. Night settles in with a familiar embrace as you finally rest, contemplating these paths that bind craftsmen across time. The circle widens, with each apprentice trained, each skill passed on, ensuring that the legacy of blacksmithing thrums ever on, resonating with the quiet hum of the forge, echoing its steadfast nature through history's corridors. As you drift to sleep beneath the canvas of stars, you hold fast to the certainty that the craft's future is secure in the embrace of hands that continue to learn, explore, and forge anew. As the sun dips below the horizon, your thoughts remain tethered to the diverse web of economics that governs life as a blacksmith. Every item you forge represents not just a product, but a connection, an ongoing dialogue between material, craftsmanship, and the diverse needs of your community. In many ways, this dance with economic stability reflects the very essence of your craft, finding harmony between the intense heat of the forge and the delicate balance of well-tempered iron. The fluctuations in demand mean that at times ingenuity becomes as valuable as skill, During lean periods, you might repurpose materials, transforming old pieces into new treasures. It's not uncommon to take a broken sword and reforge it into a set of sturdy nails, or convert worn-out tools into new ones, adjusting to the economic currents by maximizing every resource at your disposal. The scraps become your palette, each piece of metal a potential work of art. Beyond merely bending to the will of external forces, you've become adept at pursuing opportunities that ensure your craft remains viable. Trading connections extend further than the next village over. Merchants who travel the distance with your wares bring news and opportunity from bustling towns and distant cities. Sometimes this results in lucrative contracts with city officials. Other times it's a foray into crafting ornamental pieces for merchant guilds or noble patrons looking to display their prosperity. Of course, these ventures are not without risk. The sudden arrival of a wealthier smith in a nearby town could prompt competition, necessitating adaptive marketing of your skills and wares to retain customer loyalty. Trust and reputation become the shield against such uncertainties, as maintaining the confidence of those who rely on your craft can mean the difference between enduring prosperity and falling into obscurity. Historians still debate the breadth of the trade networks medieval blacksmiths tapped into, and whether their success was dictated by those connections more than raw talent alone. If such speculation proves accurate, then the modest forge within your shop stands as both heart and hearth, a place where interconnected communities converge upon shared needs, ambitions, and sometimes dreams. Your workshop serves as a communal hub, witnessing the ebb and flow of humanity's needs, a place where stories unfold between hammer strikes and embers. Farmers adopt your tools with gratitude, knights entrust their armory to your expertise, even humble repairs on household items bring satisfaction and security to those who depend on them. Although it might seem like an isolated existence, the reality is that you are deeply intertwined with the fabric of society around you. Every shoe adhered to a horse's hoof. Every hinge that swings a door ties others inexorably to the world of a blacksmith, one that sustains and endures, intertwined with daily life as intimately as breath. As you extinguish the day's flame, tidying tools and gathering scattered remnants, you find peace in the unity of this cycle. More than a profession, blacksmithing offers insight, a window into survival's nuanced dance, and a testament to human innovation. In each creation, lying between the dance of adversity and opportunity, emerges the unyielding spirit and steadfast resolve to thrive amid uncertainty. By the time darkness embraces the village, you stand with quiet fortitude, aware that while economic stability remains a variable, the constancy of your craft provides a buffer against the world's unpredictability. You face tomorrow confidently, fortified by the certainty that your work evokes not just necessity, but a legacy of skill and endurance. As the silence of the night envelops you, you drift into sleep, dreams tempered by ambition and the comfort of solid craftsmanship. For in the intersection of fire and fortune, between the anvil and the unpredictable, lies a profound truth. No matter the tides that try to sway you, your craft carves a timeless niche, a lasting legacy woven into the annals of time. The sun rises over the village, casting its golden hues on the narrow streets and bustling market. Another day in the life of a blacksmith begins, but today brings a focus on the guild system, a structure that holds a firm grip on your career and shapes the landscape of your profession. As you push open the forge door and step into the familiar warmth, you reflect on the influence and intricacies of belonging to a guild, an organization both nurturing and restrictive by design. The guild is more than just a collective of individuals sharing a trade. It stands as a guardian of standards, a bastion of quality and tradition that dictates how work is conducted within its purview. As a blacksmith, being part of the guild provides you with a badge of legitimacy. The emblematic symbol displayed outside your shop proclaims your adherence to a shared code of practice, one that ensures a level of trust and reliability to potential clients who tread past its threshold. Membership in the guild also brings with it distinct benefits: succession to resources, communal knowledge, and mutual support. In an era where information is as valuable as raw materials, the guild serves as a repository of collective wisdom and innovation, fostering an environment of learning open to new techniques and artistic expression. The camaraderie found within guild meetings, full of shared tales and common challenges, brings a sense of belonging and unity among those who understand the demands of your craft firsthand. Yet with these advantages come strict guidelines and formidable obligations. The Guild enforces standards on who can practice the trade, laying down apprentices, examinations and masterworks as rites of passage before granting full membership. This selective process ensures that only those who meet its high standards are allowed to call themselves master artisans and ply their trade to the public. Every month, you gather with fellow guild members where discussions unfold over trade practices, pricing, and the protection of the craft against outside competition. These gatherings, housed in dimly lit alcoves bound by wood and stone, are a blend of formalities and camaraderie. Decisions made here affect your daily life, setting the cost of materials and ensuring that your prices align with guild expectations to maintain fairness and balance in local commerce. Despite the Guild's protections, it demands rigid adherence to its rules, and those who dissent or circumvent them face dire consequences. Expulsion or fines can bring ruin, leaving one cast adrift without the support of the Brotherhood. The line between privilege and constraint is fine, a tightrope balanced with careful deliberation. As you carry out the day's orders, you're reminded of the Guild's influence on creativity. While it's an entity that promotes quality and continuity, it can also stifle individual experimentation and innovation. The need to adhere to established techniques sometimes curtails the freedom to explore novel ideas or implement unconventional methods, creating tension between tradition and progression. Historians still debate whether guilds functioned more as benevolent protectors of craft, or as gatekeepers that restricted progress under the guise of maintaining quality. It's a discussion that resonates with you on a personal level, particularly when faced with tasks demanding both adherence to the Guild's methodologies and the singular touch of your artistry. However, the Guild stands as your fortress against instability, a bulwark against the economic uncertainty that pervades the medieval marketplace. Within its embrace, you find security in community and the guidance of those who came before. The Guild's structured nature, although sometimes burdensome, has allowed your craft to survive centuries of societal changes, transmuting through epochs like the very metals you shape. As dusk settles upon the village, the forge exudes a gentle warmth, its glow a beacon of the day's accomplishments. You take a moment to reflect on the pathways carved by Guild Association, understanding that your participation is not merely an individual endeavour, but part of a larger continuum that sustains the craft's legacy. In the end, the Guild represents a duality, a symbol of structured strength and tradition, as well as the delicate restraint that channels the flow of craftsmanship within set bounds. It is both ally and overseer, providing tools for success while fostering the traditions that cradle your life's work. Securing the shop for the night, you set aside any lingering ambivalence, focusing on the reality that the Guild's legacy extends beyond its rules and meetings. It stands as a living testament to the resilience and artistry of the blacksmith, a tradition tempered against time and passed hand to hand like an ever-enduring flame. As you retire, the Guild's echo resonates in the quiet night, a promise that tomorrow brings another chance to balance this tenuous dance between history and your own evolving craft. As the morning dawns crisp and clear, you step out into the invigorating chill and prepare for the unique challenges that come with the winter season. The forge, your sanctuary of warmth and industry, beckons more than ever against harsh winds and biting cold. Surviving medieval winters involves not just keeping the fire alive in the hearth, but ensuring the forge itself becomes a bastion against the season's unforgiving grasp. Walking through the thin layer of frost that kisses the ground, you enter the shop, where the furnace waits patiently, half asleep. Your breath forms fleeting clouds, quickly absorbed by the heat as you revive the flames. The forge radiates a welcome heat that seeps into your bones, warding off the chill as the fire finds life once more. It becomes a refuge, not just for you, but for those in your community reliant upon the work you provide. Winter's demands are unique. Tools and implements take on increased importance. Ploughshares must be sharpened for ground hardening with frost, axes prepared for churning wood into fuel for fires. Horses need shod with care to navigate icy paths, requiring the durable craftsmanship only a seasoned blacksmith can deliver. The brisk air outside matches the heightened pace within the forge, where each task assumes the urgency of survival. But while winter demands productivity, it also demands preparation and preservation. You find yourself more attuned to the protection and maintenance of your equipment, ensuring that moisture-induced rust doesn't claim your tools. The brittle cold plays tricks on metal, causing expansion and contraction that might not occur during milder seasons. Understanding these subtleties and the unique behavior of materials affected by cold is crucial, for even the smallest oversight can spell disaster at the worst moment. Outside, the village continues its rhythm, despite the weather's harshness. Neighbours clad in heavy cloaks and furs venture to your door, huddled against the biting wind, braving the elements for the solutions only your forge can provide. In exchange for your skills, payments are as varied as any market foodstuffs, firewood, and the occasional promised favour. The currency of winter is built as much on necessity and trust as it is trade, ensuring communal bonds remain strong and trade networks remain functional even under the snow's blanket. Children sometimes wander to your forge, eyes wide with wonder at the tongues of flame and sparks that leap into the air. Their presence tugs at memory's fabric, recalling your own youth and the fire-warmed stories shared among apprentices about mythical smiths who tamed winter with enchanted hammers and ever-burning fires. Such stories, passed from generation to generation, echo within the constant hum of thawing, reshaping life's cyclical dance, weaving hope into the bleakest of seasons. Historians argue about the severity of medieval winters and the resilience communities needed to survive, their stories fragmentary shadows of the past. Did blacksmiths really perform acts of heroism amidst yowling gales, rescuing villages from the brinks of disaster, or were their roles primarily practical? Whatever the truth, your own experience shows how each winter brings concrete evidence of the crucial role blacksmiths play within the wider context of community survival and adaptation. As the day tapers into evening, the warmth of the forge insulates against the night's encroaching chill. You take stock of the work completed, feeling tired but content, buoyed by the knowledge that your craft has contributed to the village's well-being. Each carefully hammered piece is a testament to life sustained, even against nature's winter trials. Closing the shop, you're mindful of the fleeting daylight as it dwindles into a quiet, frosty twilight. Puffs of breath mingle once more with the cooling air, and though your tasks might await come dawn, the satisfaction lies in retaining the fire within your heart and not just the forge. In ensuring the community remains safe and prepared, you also shield against winter's adversities together. With winter comes reflection, and on your way home the thought warms you. Through the toil and demands of each season, your craft is more than iron-shaped in flame. It's an enduring promise of shelter against a storm, the glow from your forge promising renewal and resilience. As you retire for the night, snug against the cold, you understand how each day defies what winter might bring, merging past and present beneath one familiar, shared sky. The forge begins to breathe life into another day, but today the scent of anticipation mingles with its usual warmth. A call to arms resonates throughout the village, conflict stirs in the land, and suddenly the blacksmith's role expands beyond the everyday into the urgent demands of war. As you gather your thoughts and tools, the stark reality of your craft's impact in times of conflict becomes all the more apparent. There is an energy that accompanies the preparation for war, a frenetic pace that quickens the pulse of the forge. Villagers and messengers arrive with requests for weapons, swords, spears, arrowheads, all needing the durability and precision that only seasoned hands can provide. This urgent need for military hardware transforms your usual workflow into a focused mission, one where the stakes are tangibly higher and the outcomes heavier in consequence. As you sort through your stockpile, you select raw iron to shape into tools of war. The process is both familiar and fraught. These weapons, born in your forge, will accompany men into battle, their lives dependent upon your skill and precision. Each sword forged carries a gravity far beyond its physical weight, echoing with the silent hope and apprehension that rings within each clang of metal. Images of knights in iron armor flash through your mind, blends of heroism and vulnerability as they ride into the unknown. Your craft, though essential, holds a dual edge. The act of creating instruments of war is steeped in moral complexity. On one hand, the pride of fine craftsmanship. On the other, the knowledge that these creations might return battered and broken, having fulfilled their purpose in cutting through both foes and the tangled negotiations of peace and violence. Whether mounted knights or foot soldiers rely on your work, theirs is an implicit trust in the balance and heft of their weapons. Every detail matters, the way a sword grips in the hand, or how a spear's weight settles back upon the throw. Your craftsmanship, tested and true, serves as the bridge between mere metal and something capable of protecting and defending. Here, in the heat of the forge, the metal is imbued not only with strength, but with the hopes tethered to distant, unknown battlefields. As the pace intensifies, so too does the responsibility. Powers blend into a feverish continuum, fire blazing from dawn until well past dusk. The rhythmic pulse of the hammer is punctuated by moments of reflection, small pockets where the weight of this dual-edged duty settles heavily on your shoulders. Historians continue to debate the role blacksmiths played during medieval warfare, whether they were artisan warriors in their own right or mere instruments of greater machinations. Yet, within the glow of the forge, you feel the pull of each side, caught in the tension between utility and consequence. Amidst preparation, villagers gather word of skirmishes and battles, often turning the forge into a hub for news and speculation. Stories of valor and sacrifice weave into the flicker of flames, creating a tapestry where fact mingles with hopeful hearsay. Despite the tumult, there's unity in purpose. A village drawn together by shared apprehensions, each harnessing the strength necessary for coming trials. The evening arrives, quietly, replacing the forge's symphony with the gentle hum of distant crickets. The last sword stands cooling in the rack, each ingrained mark a testament to your duty. Exhaustion mingles with a sense of accomplishment as you gently stoke the flames for tomorrow's work. As you close the forge's doors, there's a moment of poignant reflection, a memory of a time when the craft was shaped purely by necessity and beauty, absent this looming shadow of war. Yet you also realize how, through all these, the consistent narrative lies within the shared vigilance, the interconnectedness of lives prepared to defend what they hold dear. Returning home beneath the velvet dusk, you feel the forge's warmth linger, as a promise of strength sustained, a reminder of your role in the larger narrative of your community's resilience and continuity. The forge waits, even as night unfolds, a sentinel ready to craft tomorrow's needs from peace to defense. You retire, weighted with the knowledge of duty, yet comforted by the certainty that your presence at the anvil not only shapes metal, but also fortifies the heart of those called to bear your creations in a complex world. Through the endless cycle of fire, you play a part in every victory hard-won or path chosen in the story unspooling through time. As dawn graces the village once again, you step into the forge, fully aware of yet another layer that colours life as a blacksmith, the ever-looming spectre of competition and rivalry. In a world where craftsmanship defines one's survival and standing, the path forward is paved with not only shared knowledge, but also inherent rivalries that press upon the boundaries between improvement and discord. The forge, alive with the blaze of morning ambition, becomes your sanctuary against a backdrop of bustling human endeavour. Within this volatile commerce, blacksmiths are weighed and measured by their creative output, skill, and ability to satisfy the constant churn of village demand. The challenge lies not merely in producing quality work, but in differentiating your art amid a plethora of artisans vying for patronage in a seemingly saturated market. In such a competitive milieu, every piece becomes both a creation and a declaration. You embark on today's tasks with renewed resolve, aware that the success of one commission might forge alliances, while the missteps of another could sever them. This delicate dance of artistry serves as both a blueprint and battleground, testing your limits, pushing innovation, and elevating the mundane into the extraordinary. However, the camaraderie shared among fellow craftsmen doesn't preclude occasional clashes with others seeking similar recognition and reward. Rival blacksmiths loom each equipped with their own signature styles and techniques. The relationship is often a dichotomy of respect and rivalry, driving you to continuously innovate and refine, to create not only what is necessary, but what endures as a testament to excellence. News of another blacksmith in the neighbouring town arrives swiftly with the merchants and travellers who frequent your forge. Rumours tell of his deftness with sword hilts, his prowess imbued into every curve and edge. Such tidings spark a competitive fire, igniting within you a determination to hone your own skill set further. While mutual respect binds artisan networks, the quest for distinction fuels the forge's flames with equal intensity. Amid the clangour of creation, you experiment with novel techniques, incorporating delicate filigree into bronze door fittings, or venturing into lighter, more resilient designs for ploughshares and axes. These ventures not only serve practical purposes but stand as bold statements, signalling a blacksmith unafraid to push the boundaries of traditional craftsmanship. The guild, which governs and facilitates trade among artisans, emerges as both ally and arbiter in this competitive climate. Their oversight ensures quality and adherence to standards, yet grants room for innovation and personal flair. By investing in creativity, you honour the guild's traditions while simultaneously expanding its horizons, paving new roads for aspiring smiths and contributing a personal legacy to the craft's storied history. Historians often reflect on the dynamics of such rivalries among medieval blacksmiths, pondering whether these competitions fostered progress or fostered divisions. The truth likely lies in the intricate interplay of both narratives, a spectrum where challenge births evolution amidst collaboration and contention. In the quiet moments of dusk, after the hammer has stilled and the fire's glow begins to fade, there's a sense of fulfillment derived from being part of this broader conversation, a dialogue spanning generations of artisans both known and unknown. The rivalry that once seemed daunting now feels integral, spurring on each blacksmith to seek the pinnacle of true mastery. With the stars emerging in the night sky, your day concludes amid thoughts of tomorrow's potential, tempered by today's progress. As you lock the doors of the forge ready to wander home, the spirits of past competitors accompany you, forming part of the narrative that shapes and propels your ongoing journey. The evening's chill carries with it the kinship of those who share your craft. Rivals and companions alike woven together in the ever-evolving tapestry of artisanship. Through competition, innovation blossoms, carving a path not only through the heart of the forge, but also into the annals of history, a legacy etched in steel and fire. As night unfolds its shroud, you retire with the assurance that, come what may, your artistry and determination will kindle a tomorrow where each strike of the hammer echoes both defiance and ingenuity, undeterred by time's ceaseless forward march. As the first light of dawn gently peeks through the cracked door of the forge, a new day of opportunity and challenge beckons. Today, you confront the complex dynamics of trading and bartering, a cornerstone of the medieval economy where goods exchange hands more often than coin. It's a world where your craftsmanship functions not just as a product, but as a vital currency within an intricate web of trade relationships. The forge awakes slowly, its flames licking eagerly at the first kindling of the day. As you prepare for the day's tasks, your mind is already at work, weighing the value of iron against necessities. Wheeling and dealing in a marketplace that operates on trust, reputation, and the age-old practice of barter. In a time when currency is scarce, the trade of goods becomes a dance of negotiation, requiring keen awareness and strategic foresight. In the bustle of the market, your work carries significance beyond its immediate utility. Every tool and implement signifies more than simply its material worth. It becomes a vector for acquiring the essentials of life, grain, wool, or livestock, all crucial to sustaining both your craft and your household. As you plan the day's output, you bear in mind not only what you can produce, but what it might procure within your community's barter economy. The village market is a beehive of activity, with sounds of haggling and the hum of conversation resonating through cobblestone paths. Farmers and fishmongers tout their wares alongside your fellow artisans. The clamour represents more than noise. It's the lifeblood of the village's economy. A vibrant symphony where goods flow from hand to hand. Each transaction is an exercise in both diplomacy and acumen. A farmer approaches your stall, seeking to exchange bushels of barley for new shears, adept at trimming his crops. The negotiation balances deftly on your understanding of the current needs and scarcities. Barley might bring life to winter meals or ferment into ale, rendering it worth several finely crafted items. Yet, the dance of barter demands finesse. You must ensure the exchange benefits both parties while maintaining the integrity of your craft's value. Beyond money, these exchanges build relationships and trust, integral to your standing as a respected tradesperson within the community. With every transaction, you deepen connections, each successful barter an affirmation of goodwill that extends your network of influence and reliance. It's understood that today's exchange lays the groundwork for tomorrow's loyalty. A currency as valuable as any minted coin. Whispers from the distant towns hint at fluctuating iron supplies and changing demands for metalwork. The marketplace is an ever-changing tapestry, where shifts in availability and need dictate the value of goods. It's a balancing act that requires agility and forethought. Crafting the right items when the time is ripe can secure more in trade than coin might typically muster. Historians still debate the effectiveness of bartering in medieval economies, pondering the complexities of a system so dependent on intangible contracts and localized agreements. Whether it was idealistic in practice or riddled with iniquities might depend as much on personal integrity and long-standing connections as on the goods themselves. Yet, for the blacksmith, accustomed to the swing of the hammer and the weight of responsibility, it offers community ties forged as strongly as any wrought iron. As the day wanes, goods exchanged, and alliances reaffirmed, you gather your takings, a modest blend of necessities that fill your cart and feed your home. These small triumphs amid the clamour of trade underscore your integral place in a community reliant upon both your craft and your bartering acumen. Even as the marketplace empties, the forge's embers hold the promise of another day's exchange. Returning home, your heart is lightened by the warming knowledge that through the rhythm of fire, you nurture the seeds of tomorrow's prosperity. Under the stars' watchful gaze, you rest assured that in this barter-based economy, every strike of the hammer builds wealth, not only of goods but relationships, a tapestry of trust and mutual benefit made manifest through the age-old dance of the trade. With the forge's dimmed glow lingering like an ember against the night sky, you prepare to rest and rise once again, ready for the unceasing conviviality and opportunity the morrow will unfurl. A new day dawns, its light stretching like a hopeful promise across the ancient land. In the quiet moment before the forge bursts into life, your thoughts drift toward the subtle undercurrents of technological change. Gradual as the turning of the seasons, such innovations promise both opportunities and challenges, reshaping the landscape of your craft in ways both potential and profound. As with every morning, the forge stands ready, its nestled embers awaiting fanning into vitality. You reflect on the tools and methods at your disposal, honed through years of time-trusted tradition. Each hammer and anvil bears testament to centuries of refinement. Each technique learned is a distilled essence passed down through generations. Yet the whisper of innovation rides the air, a quiet call to adapt, evolve, and embrace new advancements that seep slowly into the fabric of medieval life. These transformations can come in unexpected forms. The introduction of water-powered hammers, appearing like dreams sent to relieve weary limbs from the relentless rhythm of manual labour. Already tales of such wonders float through the village, holding the promise of increased efficiency that might free time for more specialized or intricate work. The concept is as enticing as it is daunting, suggesting possibilities for greater production and sparking debate among guild members about their implementation and limitations. Meanwhile, broader technological shifts hint at small revolutions within other crafts, like the adoption of ever-improving bellows and anvils cast with stronger materials. As word spreads of these innovations, you find yourself considering the balance between tradition and the desire to stay competitive. The thought of integrating such changes into your own practice teases both optimism and the comfort of caution, an unspoken reminder that progress is sometimes met with resistance or unintentional hurdles. Historians continue to dispute the impact of technological advancements on craftsmanship during the medieval period. How gradual were these changes? Did they streamline the labor-intensive processes intrinsic to blacksmithing? Regardless of their speed or breadth, one certainty remains. Progress not only demands adaptation, but also inspires excellence, improving the craft without eroding its heart. You find that conversations with fellow artisans often turn toward these murmurs of change, especially when visiting travelling smiths share tales from distant lands. Each story, whether ornate or plain, carries a kernel of intrigue about the new tools and techniques being employed elsewhere. There's an acknowledgement mingling curiosity with wariness that to ignore these shifts could leave a craftsman stranded in time's shadow. As you set to work shaping the iron with familiar hands, you wonder whether the great masters of old faced the same decisions as they pondered the cautious integration of advancement. With a deft hammer strike, you contemplate how much of their success hinged on embracing novelty without sacrificing the fundamental principles that define the craft, a delicate balance akin to walking the edge of a blade. Yet these changes bring opportunities for creativity, hinting at fresh artistic expression and the ability to push boundaries further than before. With the prospect of novel tools and efficiencies, your imagination ignites with the vision of new designs or the reinvention of old patterns, driving innovation as a celebration of both legacy and future promise. As the sun arcs across the sky, marking the passage of another industrious day, the delicate fusion of tradition and innovation becomes your steadfast lodestar. Listening to the forge's thrumming heart, your thoughts weave tales of progression and the delicate dance upon which the blacksmith's legacy is maintained. As twilight unfolds, you close the door to the forge, aware that each change echoes throughout generations to come, and that your role shapes more than just metal. It forges a path ahead. Your workshop, a cornerstone of craftsmanship poised to embrace ingenuity while honoring its roots, rests in silence as you return home, ripples of opportunity whispering at your heels. In the quiet solitude of the evening, you ponder the promise that each dawn brings. A gateway to a future where the dance of evolution and tradition continues, united in your skilled hands. As sleep descends, you dream of the ever-turning wheel of time, confident that whatever transformation may arrive, the spirit of the forge will endure, resilient and reborn with every spark that flies beneath your careful gaze. With the sun finding its place high in the azure sky, you prepare for another day, one that sinks its roots deep into the realm of folklore and superstition, a world where blacksmiths are seen as something more than mere artisans. As metal shapes under your skilled hand, stories, myths, and charms weave through the air, lending the forge an aura that transcends simple craftsmanship. From the earliest days of your apprenticeship, stories of enchantments tied to your trade filled the air like incense, a heady mixture of intrigue and caution. Tales of blacksmiths harnessing otherworldly power to bend metal at their whim swirled within the village, conferring upon your craft an aura of mystical prestige. The forge, central to these tales, stands like a monument of fire and iron, a space where heat and willpower converge. Every strike of the hammer sends shivers through the community, a tangible reminder of the alchemical marvels said to dwell within the heat. The forge keeper of spells, stealer of curses, becomes both sanctuary and conjuring place, steeped in the swirling mists of imagination. Gentle whispers hint at legends passed through parlor firesides and gymkin gatherings of blacksmiths who whispered to demons or signed pacts to wield unholy strength. A horseshoe hung above a door might steer ill fate away, while specific symbols and patterns waft away evil intent from newly smithed swords. These beliefs, remnants of an older world, call on your innate curiosity, teasing at the edge of your waking thoughts. Among the villagers, embellishments on their visits to your shop add layers of fanciful mystique to their lives. Each commission carries the lore of countless incarnations, your imbued pieces viewed not just as tools, but amulets of protection and potency. As you work, your mind recalls countless stories forged in the fire's glow. The smith who outran death by enchanting a horseshoe, the anvil said to trap trickster spirits eager to escape into the world. Each narrative is woven into your craft, and though they are often mere flights of fancy, there's something resolutely captivating about these otherworldly intersections that stand testament to the blacksmith's dual mastery over physical world and myth alike. Historians still debate the true origins and purpose of these tales, whether rooted in genuine fear of blacksmiths' perceived powers or birthed from admiration of their mastery. It's a reflection not only on the notes of folklore, but how these layers of belief lend the occupation its archaic grace. A dance spanning belief and landscape. The community, while superstitious, bridges these tales with respectful awe. Their trust grows not from trepidation, but appreciation, threaded with an understanding that you are both creator and confidant. The forge, under your stewardship, becomes an enchanted realm where older beliefs transition to modern livelihoods, a passageway between what was and what is. On rare occasions, a visitor might cross paths with your workspace for consultation, petitioning guidance to fend off spirits or bestow fortune upon an enterprise, eager for reassurance that a blacksmith's blessing might tip fortune's scales. While you delicately walk the line between honoring such traditions and focusing on practicalities, you can't help but empathize with their quests for comfort and hope. The daylight wanes, and dusk casts ethereal shadows through latchless windows, weaving superstition into companionship as the final embers twist and writhe into smoky spirals. Before closing the forge, traces of soft prayers drift into evening's embrace, a silent plea overriding even the most careful work. Returning homeward under a sky scattered with stars, you accept the blend of science and mystery cradled within the anvil's powerful embrace. In the melding of metal and myth, another truth emerges, that blacksmiths, like all artisans, craft futures with hands steady, heart hopeful. As you slip into the warmth of night, thoughts of the day's work and veiled enchantments slip gently into dreams. No matter how tales twine around your craft, you sleep assured in the knowledge that the spirit of blacksmithing fortifies more than the structure of tools. It casts an enduring spell over the very essence of life, a cornerstone both fantastical and real. In this quiet balance, the past and present meld, sharing whispers forged as deeply as the iron beneath your tongue. As the sun rises once again, casting the world in hues of pink and gold, you prepare to delve into another aspect of your life as a medieval blacksmith, managing relationships with patrons and clients. Each interaction with those who seek your services becomes as intricate as the metalwork you produce, weaving a web of trust and mutual benefit that spans the village and beyond. Today's task involves fulfilling a bespoke commission for the local baron, a set of ornate gates for his estate. This work requires not only exceptional craftsmanship, but also an understanding of the nuances and expectations that accompany serving the upper echelons of society. The relationship you build with such patrons is as delicate as the filigree designs they commission, straddling a line between servitude and independent artistry. Each client who enters the forge brings individual needs and expectations, from farmers requiring robust tools for ploughing to knights in search of personalized weaponry. Your craft becomes uniquely tailored to their desires. The dialogue between you and your patrons opens doors to creative opportunities, pushing your skills to new heights while fostering a relationship rooted in respect and mutual reliance. Your role as a blacksmith often involves being both a skilled artisan and a diplomatic mediator, balancing the demands of your patrons with your own artistic vision and the constraints of the materials at hand. Understanding the subtleties of negotiation is vital, as expectations must meet the practicalities of time, resources, and budget. Smooth navigation of these waters ensures that each project reflects both the client's desires and your own craftsmanship capabilities. Through each exchange, you become acutely aware that reputation serves as both a sword and shield. Delivering projects on time and to the highest standard reinforces the faith your community and patrons place in you, allowing word of mouth to become the most powerful form of advertisement in a time when technology is primarily wordless and rooted in deeds. Communication is not solely fostered through verbal exchanges, but through a trust implicit in your work. Each blade, hinge, or adornment speaks a language all its own, showcasing quality, precision, and an intimate understanding of the patron's needs. The trust that grows from these interactions fortifies your standing within the community and beyond, ensuring a steady stream of engagements that sustain both reputation and craft. Occasionally, these relationships extend past professional exchanges. Shared stories and camaraderie over a celebratory drink or village gathering transcend commercial boundaries, transforming these connections, deepening them in fellowship. Patrons may come to rely on your counsel for matters only tangentially related to blacksmithing, advice on improving yield through enhanced tools, or opinions on repairs required by distant cousins. Such inquiries defined your role in the broader societal lattice. Historians debate the depth of relationships between medieval tradespeople and their patrons, pondering whether blacksmiths held influence within their communities beyond mere trade transactions. The answer likely lies in the subtle art of service and connection, cultivated as you navigate each client interaction, skillfully blending professionalism with genuine respect. As the day draws on, the forge's flames flicker in harmony with the bonds you nurture, much like iron becoming tempered steel. In a gust of sparks, the ornate gates near completion, a testament to your partnership with the Baron, and a declaration of your skill to all who pass by. With the setting sun painting the skies in hues of aubergine and rose, you secure the forge for the night, reflecting on the ties you have strengthened around the village. The promises of the projects lie neatly coiled like metal waiting to be shaped. Echoing with tomorrow's potential as you retire to your home, there's satisfaction in knowing that each joint effort of trust and expertise echoes beyond the constraints of time, weaving deeper connections that endure as surely as the work you forge in honor and skill. Under the night sky's tranquil expanse, thoughts of patrons and the enduring bonds created through your craft form a tapestry of community and purpose, a silent pact between craftsmen and those whose lives your creations will touch. The air hangs heavy with anticipation as you step into the welcoming heat of the forge, aware that today the spectre of illness shadows your thoughts. A dialogue with the unseen, the impact of plagues and pandemics through history. Medieval life is precariously balanced, with health always a whispered concern. And the proximity of your practice to such turmoil is a reminder of the fragility that underpins both society and trade. The rhythm of the village is unsettled, like a tightening thread woven through daily life. Muted conversations float on the breeze, interspersed with news of illness that has begun spreading to nearby towns. As a blacksmith, your role often places you at the communal crossroads of life and commerce, where whispers of plagues carry through patrons and apprentices, wrapped in layers of fear and speculation. Your forge, usually a place bustling with human connection, now reflects a quieter reality. The usual hustle of orders might dwindle as villagers stay clear, balancing their needs for tools and repairs with a wariness of contagion. The rhythm of hammer on anvil continues, but the songs of labour wear a sombre note, a stark paean to the lives potentially impacted by the ravages of invisible foes. In times of illness, the blacksmith's role extends beyond the confines of metalwork to that of a trusted confidant and community pillar. You offer more than just trade goods. You provide a gathering point of shared resilience, arrangements and ideas on how best to weather the spreading storm. Your voice joins others as village gatherings debate precautionary measures, how to protect the weak, how to manage resources. Scarcity becomes a concern, whether driven by dwindling resources or by disrupted trade routes. Ironically, the need for tools and weaponry often increases along with the tension wrought by plague, as communities look to reinforce their self-sufficiency. Such times draw the community closer, even as they threaten to pull trusted relationships apart under the strain. Historians explore the resilience of blacksmiths during such tumultuous periods, comparing how their roles shifted within the village dynamic. Did blacksmiths enjoy a sense of invulnerability due to their skills, or were they pulled tightly into the same web of vulnerability that engulfed their neighbours? These periods of hardship define not only the craft, but their communal memory, weaving individual struggles into the fabric of shared history. Beyond mere survival, maintaining the health of your craft becomes core to weathering the plague's impact. For many artisans, guilds serve as a support network during turbulent times, a quiet force of solidarity offering arrangements to continue operations. Yet, fear of spreading or contracting disease places confines on even the closest of guild relations. In quieter moments at your workbench, the weight of impending decisions becomes palpable. Adaptation becomes key, altering your approach, finding safer methods to conduct work, or exploring how technology might afford opportunities to meet demands without risk. The forge's perpetual warmth is offset by the chill of uncertainty, stirring echoes of resilience and hope. Every finished piece of metalwork becomes a beacon of determination, each tool wrought an assurance that one day the world's balance might be restored. You find solace in the steady nature of your craft, steady as the anvil beneath your hands, energizing you with the promise that the light of expertise outlasts the shadows of strife. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a sepia hue over your shop, you lock up for the night, aware that even within the stillness of concern, nothing severs the forge's inner flame. With your community at your back and resolve in your heart, you tread the path homeward, knowing the strength that comes from shared trials can forge futures as resilient as the metal you shape. In the seal of night, on the edge of repose, you understand that each swing of the hammer rings against anxiety and uncertainty, carving tales shaped by perseverance. With an unwavering heart, you steady yourself for whatever tomorrow holds, resolved to sustain both soul and spine, bracing against plague's wayward passage, assured that through time, both craft and community will continue to endure, no matter the storms faced. The dawn never fails to bring with it a new beginning, a golden light casting its warm glow over the forge, illuminating the rough-hewn sanctuary of your craft. Today, your thoughts wander to the enduring legacy of blacksmithing, a craft entrenched in history yet always evolving, perpetually casting its influence over the annals of human advancement and ingenuity. The forge roars to life, its familiar heat wrapping around you like an embrace as you prepare for another day at the anvil. Therein lies the beauty of blacksmithing, a dance between past and present, where each strike of the hammer echoes with centuries of knowledge. Your own work, an extension of this lineage, is a testament to a craft that has shaped civilizations, adapted across epochs, and left its profound mark on the world. From the elegant curvature of a wrought iron gate to the austere simplicity of a farming tool, your creations weave stories of progress and innovation. Each piece pays homage to the blacksmiths who came before you, those who pushed the boundaries and left behind an indelible legacy of craftsmanship. Your own contributions add another thread to this intricate tapestry, ensuring the craft remains not only alive but vibrant and forward-looking. The legacy of blacksmithing is one of resilience and adaptation. Having evolved alongside humanity itself, in early ancient cultures, the ability to manipulate metal was akin to wielding magic, the birth of a technological revolution that forged pathways into previously uncharted territories. As societies expanded and required more sophisticated technologies, blacksmiths answered the call with ever-refined skills and techniques. Historians speak of blacksmiths' pivotal roles in the technological advancements over millennia. Interestingly, they still debate current perceptions of blacksmithing's contributions. Were these artisans simply footnotes to progress, or did their innovations and tools actively shape the course of history? Each scholarly discussion underscores how integral blacksmiths were to each societal shift: engineers, artists, and problem solvers in equal measure. It's a journey marked by relentless creativity and resourcefulness. As you create intricate metalwork for the village or fashion weapons for noble patrons, you see echoes of the craft's enduring spirit. It's more than function, it's a testament to the artistic expression woven into the DNA of human civilization. Beyond personal accomplishment, the blacksmith's legacy extends into the future. When you teach techniques to an apprentice or share insights at the guild, you perpetuate a cycle of knowledge and mentorship that fosters growth and celebrates tradition. Each new generation of blacksmiths draws upon ancestral teachings while contributing new techniques and ideas, ensuring the lineage of craftsmanship remains unbroken and ever relevant. Today's work is a collaborative project with other artisans, both a nod to tradition and an exploration of innovation. Collaborations grow out from the forge like branches reaching for sunlight, each leaf a unique creation, strengthened by shared insight and collective expertise. Your blacksmithing legacy is not solitary, but intertwined, and therein lies its power. The lessons learned within the forge reach beyond its walls, as timeless as the anvil itself. Each sword, each plowshare, each sculpted ornament stamps an indelible impression on those who wield and cherish them, linking people across time and space by their shared reliance on the blacksmith's craft. This notion of skills shared and experiences echoed weaves its energy through your work today. As evening sets, casting gentle shadows along rough-hewn floors, you secure the forge with the satisfying clink of cooling metal. Though the shop falls silent, its presence reverberates with a legacy hard-won, yet humbly maintained. A legacy that lives far beyond the nuances of labor alone. Tonight, the stars appear especially bright as you exit the forge, mirroring the illuminating journey of blacksmiths throughout history. The road home feels welcoming beneath your step, encouraging thoughts of future endeavors and innovations yet to come. In the hush of night's embrace, the legacy of blacksmithing crystallizes, not merely in the sinuous lines of a handmade gate or the smooth edge of a polished blade, but in the spirit of adventure, craft, and passion you hold close. As dreams unfurl, they draw you onward, forging a continuous chain of inspiration and resilience to carry blacksmithing's proud tradition far into tomorrow. In the stillness of a new day's birth, the forge stands quietly, waiting. There's an alluring calmness to the morning, a gentle reminder that its warmth will soon cradle you once more, guiding your hands to mold and create. Today, you take a deeper breath, acknowledging the modern reflections that shape your understanding of blacksmithing. A timeless craft continuously evolving, a bridge between the past and the future. The legacy you've embraced, handed down from the masters before you, enriches your daily routine, filling the space with vibrant echoes of creativity. The blacksmith's craft has changed dramatically over centuries, reshaped by the innovations and needs of each passing age. While many aspects of the work remain rooted in tradition, the forger's heart beats with an ever-evolving cadence that welcomes progress and ingenuity. As your hands fashion a piece of hot metal, the rhythmic pulse of the hammer resonates with a timeless truth. Blacksmithing endures because it embraces change while honoring heritage. The tools you use today, perhaps more advanced or efficient, tell their own story of technological advancement. From the streamlined precision of power hammers to the enduring wisdom of manual skill, each tool carries with it layers of history and whispers of potential futures. You find solace in knowing that the blacksmith's legacy is not stagnant, but a living testament to adaptability and foresight. Modern-day blacksmiths, spread across continents, borrow from ancient practices while integrating contemporary technologies and aesthetics. This synthesis gives rise to unique artistry reflecting diverse cultures and innovations, while anchored firmly in craftsmanship's rich vein. Your thoughts drift through time, imagining future blacksmiths who will inherit this legacy. Perhaps they will work with exotic, newly discovered metals, or employ technology not yet dreamt of, while still feeling the primal satisfaction of creation that begins with the forge's fire. Historians continue to explore blacksmithing's journey into modernity, deliberating the evolution of craftsmanship in the face of an ever-complex world. Was the craft's progress predictable, or has it shape-shifted across epochs through a delicate dance with the unknown? The truth lies in the ongoing fusion of the enduring with the inventive, a path where tradition is cherished, even as horizons expand. The forge, a locus of tradition and innovation, remains your bastion, a place where your spirit connects past with future, where each crafted piece is imbued with the wisdom of ages. In the embrace of modernity, blacksmithing's spirit thrives, venturing into new realms to find its voice. As evening descends, casting a gentle cloak over the village, you close the shop with the soft click of the latch. The weight of the day's labor rests comfortably, a reminder of the harmonious balance between craft and progress. You step outside into the quietude, the world softened and serene under the approaching night's embrace. The legacy of the blacksmith, as you move through the pathways home, lingers like an enduring whisper calling through the twilight's embrace. A legacy not only remembered and respected, but actively lived and continuously renewed. In the soothing intimacy of nightfall, your thoughts slow to a gentle rhythm, drifting into dreams where the forge remains steadfast. Each clang of iron and steel becomes a heartbeat, resonating with perseverance and the simple, enduring joy of creation. This craft, its practice and philosophy, is your gift to the world, enduring long after the sparks have cooled and the metal slumbered into shape. So you rest easy, knowing that this legacy stretches forward, carried by those who will stand where you stand, guided by the same flickering flame. As the stars weave their tapestry above, you realize anew, with a quiet sense of gratitude and wonder, the eternal flame of blacksmithing, an art form forever alive, defining countless narratives embodied through each stroke, flame, and dream. Sweet dreams.